But what say you about the acquisition of Warren Foegele?
I'm okay with that, especially when he's got a year left, right? Like that looks good. It looks better. I didn't think the Sens were really looking for any rental type players because it'd be silly to give up what few assets they have to bring in a rental when you're not even guaranteed to be in the playoffs yet. So I'm okay with it. The guy brings speed. He's definitely, if he's going to slide right into, say, a David Perron role in the middle six on a wing, he brings more speed. He brings more size. It's a totally different game that he plays. And he's younger. I think it's a tidy little bit of business, I think.
Very good defensive player and penalty killer, and that's certainly an area where the Senators lack. Their penalty kill all season long has not been good. That's been well documented. So he'll help in that area. But it is just such a tremendous drop-off from where he was last year. He had 24 goals. He had over 20 goals each of the last two seasons, one with LA and the year before that with Edmonton. And this year he has seven goals, I think it is. And was there 9 points or something? 9 points in like 40. Yeah. 40. It's like that's, yeah. What's that?
When he I heard an interview with him on 1200 today, and he didn't say it with any malice aforethought, just talking. One of the things he said he was looking forward to was playing in a different system. He talked about playing with speed. He said, I'm a guy who used my feet, my size, and he talked about playing in a different system. I wonder if that was, it didn't come out as, I hated playing in LA, it was a terrible system. It just came out as a genuine, honest response that maybe he might want to think about later as to what the true intention was or how it came across. But it sounded to me like, part of my problem this season is the way that we play in LA and what's expected of me and my role and my positional play and the defensive side of the puck and all that kind of things. I think he's looking forward to playing with an up-tempo team with a different type of system, and I think that'll help a lot.
No question. You see it again and again where players are well served by a change of address. But I would point out that last year was his career year, and it was with the LA Kings and with that same head coach, Jim Hiller. He's gone now, but something went sideways. There's no doubt here in the last year. Maybe Hiller, changed his tactics. Don't know. But Hiller's out of a job now. DJ Smith is running the show there. So something from an individual perspective changed. Something obviously from a team perspective changed. You don't fire the head coach of a team that's going in the right direction. So we may never know exactly why he faded, but the Senators are in fact counting on that change of address, maybe getting his offensive numbers back on track. But there's no doubting that when it comes to defense and being a great skater and a big body, that is timeless. That doesn't change. Whatever your system is, those are all things that are assets. It will just be interesting because he does make $3.5 million at the end of the day, and you'd like to see him, move at least a little closer to the stats that he had last year. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, David Perron is no longer an Ottawa Senator, so it kind of feels that way. That it's like, okay, Fogle is an upgrade on David Perron, younger, faster skater, probably more physical too. Though I did like David Perron along the boards, but. How big an upgrade is it for you?
I think it's big because don't think about David Perron, the player of 5 or 6 years ago. Think of David Perron, the player of 5 or 6 months ago, right? Like what you were getting out of David Perron was replaceable in my mind. He's not a top 6 guy. He's more a middle 6 or bottom 6 guy nowadays, which is exactly what Fogle is. But Fogle's younger, faster, bigger, all the things you just outlined. He had less money. Isn't Perron at $5 million for the 2 years here? I look at it's $4 million for the 2 years. Okay. Look at David Perron as well. There's another one with a comment interviewed about leaving Ottawa, and he said, I didn't really seem like I fit. He said the team didn't really fit his style, or he seemed to indicate that sort of. I don't know what that meant. Like, why would Ottawa have gone out and signed a guy at $8 million for 2 years if he didn't fit their style of play? Like that made me question things, but also made me look at David Perron and think, you know what? He's right, This is an up-tempo team. This is a speed team. And he's also in the same interview said, I'm not the fastest guy anymore. I'm not the fleetest of foot anymore. I never was. And that kind of brings down his contribution abilities when he's not as quick as the rest of the lineup. So I'm okay with him going. I'm okay with the return, and I'm okay with Fogle replacing him. I think it's a good move and a good day.
Yeah, it comes in $500,000 cheaper, and yeah, that's a guy you might want to re-sign too after next season. You'd have to make a decision. Okay, Perron is a guy whose contract is going to expire at the end of this year, and he probably wasn't part of the plans because he's not going to be looking for a big, massive pay cut. No NHL player is. And now you've got a young guy that might be able to grow with the group if things pan out. So let's hear from GM Steve Staios, as is tradition. GMs at 3:00 or shortly thereafter, once all the dealing is done, to sound like Kenny Rogers for a moment.
Good job.
They usually meet with the media. And here's a little bit of Steve Staios in his conversation with the media, speaking mostly about Warren Foegele and about David Perron making his exit.
At the end of the day, we feel very good about our team and the direction that it's moving, the way we've been playing more recently in particular. And we made the deal yesterday for Warren Foegele, add a little more speed to our lineup. There's some variability with this player on where he can play in a line and what he can bring to a team. He's a big body who can skate. He had back-to-back 20-goal seasons. We like that makeup of player. David was a good player for us. He brought a little bit of what we needed at the time with what David brings with his, experience and competitiveness at a time where this group was continuing to grow. We've certainly taken that next step as a group. But we felt like getting a guy like Warren into the lineup that can play the right and left side and get in on the forecheck, gets to the front of the net, big body, fits our style of play.